joining me today. Today I am setting up my April bullet journal a little later than I'd normally like, but here we are. I am actually constructing a new pull tab design that I came up with for April, and my theme for April is ladybugs. So I thought it would be fun to make a ladybug that pops out with her wings. So that's exactly what I did. What you see me do here is the final touches. I made the mechanism separate and then I am gluing it into my notebook. If you would like a tutorial on this, let me know down in the comments. I'm probably going to do an Instagram live where I talk about how I created this, so definitely keep an eye open for that. I used vellum for the wings and I used gouache paint to color in the body of the ladybug and then gouache paint for the spots as well. I used a stencil just to make sure that I was able to get the spots as round as I like. Here you see me swatching my colors. I actually, normally I pick out my color swatch and then I will create my layout, but in this case I knew I wanted to do the ladybugs with the green and the red and the brown, and so I created that and then actually ended up doing my swatching. So a little bit backwards than normal, but still effective. Now this video is also different in that I left a lot of my mistakes in the video. As you can see here, here's mistake number 1. I lettered April and it wasn't even. So I just grabbed the gouache paint that I used and painted over top of it. The paint I'm using is a gouache water-based paint. It's not my favorite, but it does the job. Now I'm keeping a lot of my layouts the same because they work for me, but I decided to add a couple different twists and you will see what I'm talking about. My calendar page is pretty standard, didn't really do much else. I did use acrylographs on this page. I colored in my April and then once it was dry, I drew daisies over top of the painted portions. A lot of this bullet journal setup was me waiting for the ink to dry or the paint to dry. So I did cut things very short to edit out that wait time. Now the stickers you see me use are available for my email subscribers as free printables, or you can head on over to Shop Natasha Miller Letters and I will have the ladybug samplers as well as some days of the week stickers that you will see me use in my weekly setup. My next layout is my habit tracker page. I decided to go a little bit extra on this page, and it's something I haven't done before, and I thought it would be fun to give it a try. So just quickly, this is mistake number 2. I used the wrong acrylograph color. I meant to use the acrylograph color you see me use now. What I ended up doing, I waited for the wrong color to dry and I went back over with the right color. And I just had to do a couple of layers just to get that color to be less dark with the underlying color that I'd already used. So I'm going in with my gouache again and I am coloring the leaves. I am by no means a gouache expert. I'm just playing and seeing and experimenting what happens. And it's been fun. I did like how it turned out. I was quite surprised that I had at least some idea of what I was doing. I ended up mixing a lot of colors together. There was one olive green color of the leaves that I really loved, and I would just mix it with the black and the white to change the tones. That was another mistake I made, and I actually go in with some white gouache and paint over it once it's dry, and it was gone, so it wasn't a problem at all. outlining my leaves, I do like when my shapes have outlines. I'm not as good with the shadowing as I like, so I still like to include that black line for definition. And I went in with the olive acrylograph just to do touch-ups, and this is the dark forest green acrylograph that I used to add a little bit of visual interest to the leaves. I then went in with the black acrylograph and I made ladybug spots over the red that I colored the habit trackers in. So there's another mistake. The paint actually, I got it on the piece of paper that I was using to protect my pages, and I ended up smearing it all over my calendar page. So here I'm quickly showing you how I made my trackers into ladybugs. I just die cut circles out of red scrapbook paper, cut about 3/4 of the way or 2/3 of the way, and folded the wings back. I used this Hero Hues white stamp and it was fantastic. Really stuck out on the black really well. You just have to wait for it to dry. It was a little bit excessive waiting for it to dry, but it got done, so. And then I just kind of stuck the ladybugs down. I stamped my calendars all around the circle, sometimes close to the left, sometimes close to the right, and then I just glued my ladybugs on accordingly, and it kind of gave that fun effect that they were crawling up the page. And then I decided to write in what I was tracking, and there's another mistake. I ended up wiping it away and it dried quickly, so I just went in with the black acrylograph over top of it and it fixed it, not a problem. Now I wanted my habits to be a little bit darker, so I just went in a second time just to make sure that they would stick out. Now this is my brain dump page. This month I decided to call it my brain drain page. And again, I tried something a little different. I used my acrylographs to do some blending. Now one of my acrylographs is acting up a little bit and it's kind of a little bit splotchy. So it actually worked really well. I was able to splotch a little bit onto my page, and then using the dark forest green, I was able to push it down and mix it up, and it ended up looking really great. That was another mistake. You saw my ink drop. There was an ink drop on my page that I smeared, but I ended up going in with a white acrylograph and sticking a sticker over top of it, so it was fine. This page probably took the longest to dry because of the blending, so this is me trying not to smudge my lettering. So this is my first weekly layout for April. Again, I decided to do something different. Normally I stick to the more functional layouts for my weeklies, and I was getting bored with it. Halfway through March, I decided this isn't working for me anymore, so I thought I would change it up a little bit for April. I still have my general concept, but I just made it more fun. So I decided to draw this stem of leaves. And again, I went in with a black acrylograph, and again, there was a mistake. I stamped my calendar onto a red circle so that it looked like a ladybug, using again that white Hero Hues ink. I'll link it down below for you. And I decided to make it a semi-Dutch door, so I cut out around the leaves just on the right-hand page. Now these are the days of the week stickers that are available in the shop and for my email subscribers. I actually decided that I wanted to color the days of the week in. I'm going to leave them blank in the shop because that way you have the option to color them in whichever color you want. I just colored them in black because that was part of my color scheme. It took a while, but you will see the drastic change, so I was really happy with my decision. So I'm still sticking with my Alistair method task list. It has been a game changer for me. It's been a year and a half now of using it, and I don't see myself not using it. So that's why I incorporated the Dutch door, so that I could still have space to use my task list. So for mistake number 8, I wrote the days of the week on the wrong line, and at this point I just about had it, so I just used some whiteout. Good old whiteout. And I don't know if you caught it, but the painting mistake I made, I just used whiteout as well. I was getting a bit tired of making all these mistakes and waiting for things to dry, so I just used whiteout. So my paint ended up bleeding through the page, and I just used some whiteout. So here are my final layouts. My bug did get a little bit sticky, but I will be fixing it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. You can like and subscribe for more content, and I have linked all of my supplies down below. But thank you for your time today.